Thank you very much. Please see it. You know, as I was sitting there, and all protocols are observed, as I was sitting there, I could not help but think that this is huge. This is fresh. I don't think any of you knows how big this is. I don't think you've even thought about it. But in my mind, this is huge. This is amazing. And thank you for making yourselves vulnerable, for the world to learn from you, for that young generation to learn from you and to grow with you. So it gives me great pleasure to join you all on this very, very special occasion, which is the official launch of SheLeads. I thank you for giving me that honor of sharing this occasion with you. It speaks so deeply to me, and I'm thinking that we need so many women to read this book, to hear the stories, and to be encouraged to also tell their stories. So this is a great initiative which seeks to promote and encourage women leadership through experiential learning, because that is what you're doing. You want others to experience you and to learn from you through the sharing of your stories. I have worked in the area of corporate governance and diversity for a number of years. It will be 10 years or so this year. And diversity is one of the things that not just Kenya is struggling with, but quite a number of countries are struggling with. And not just diversity in any type of leadership, be it political, be it boards, which I work with very closely, or other types of leadership. It is diversity on all fronts. And so that is why today this launch is so important. And as I speak to women and men across Kenya and other regions, it has often been said to me that women lack role models, that we do not have enough women who have climbed the corporate ladder in different spheres. That those who have made it either don't want to share their stories or don't have the time to share their stories. It has also been said that everyone should tell their own story, that nobody tells a better story than you yourself. And I think that is true. Just sitting there and listening to you. Priska knows I did not even utter one word to her. I was just soaking it all in. Dear friends, that is why, again, I want to say, this launch is so important. We need to start seeing leadership through different lens. Through different lens. You know, that lens that positions leadership, that speaks to us differently. That leadership is inherent in each and every one of us. That it is not about that position. It is about you. You know, when we start to say that we don't have mentors, we don't have role models, it's because we have a skewed opinion of what leadership is. That we are not looking at those of us sitting around you as leaders, but we are looking at position as a leader. So sitting there again, I'm thinking, why do we scramble for the few political leaders we have? For the golden skirt, as they call it on boards, when each and every one of us has a story to tell, nuggets to share, lessons to share, and they're so willing and they're so ready to help us out. So let us redefine leadership. Leadership, as I said, is inherent in each one of us. Each one of us can influence, can mentor, can guide, and support other women. That's what I've heard today. So let's not look for the names that we know, for the faces that we have heard, seen, and voices that we have heard on TV. The influencers of your life are sitting next to you. We have great examples of leadership today. We have seen resilience in the book when I read it, and thank you, Radido, for bringing it to me. We have seen resilience. We have seen great examples of people who have walked the same journey that we are walking. This book and this launch is about turning seemingly ordinary events in people's lives into extraordinary stories that can inspire, that can spotlight, and encourage women leadership. Turning the ordinary into extraordinary. You guys are amazing. And these stories that you have told are going to influence generations to come. One thing I believe in deeply is that women do not need favors to succeed. We don't. They only need opportunities such as what you were given and what you're sharing with us today. We need an enabling environment to compete not only with each other, but also with men. And more often than not, when this environment is provided, women excel. And when I look at and I read through the Constitution of Kenya 2010, that enabling environment actually exists. We have been talking about the law that brings to life the 2/3 gender rule. We can survive without it. If what I heard today is anything to go by. That enabling environment is embodied in the great stories that are found in this book that we are launching today. I also believe something else, that until women take full charge and responsibility for the issues that concern them, change will always remain superficial and slow, because we can always blame somebody else. But when we take responsibility and accountability, then we make things move. That taking charge and responsibility starts with what we are seeing in this book. Starts with women telling their stories, sharing their experiences, being vulnerable with each other, supporting each other, and enabling each other to grow. And so that is why today I congratulate each and every one of you, including those contributors who are not here. That great book will influence generations to come. Thank you for allowing yourselves to become vulnerable. Thank you for stepping up, bringing your A game. Thank you for encouraging other women. Thank you for doing your bit to move the needle with regard to women's leadership. Just this morning, I was actually at another launch of a book called The Village Girl by Mary Wamai, who was one of your contributors as well. A great read by Mary. And if you think about what she has done, you have also done in equal measure. So you have made your contribution to women leadership. And those of us who are sitting here and haven't shared our thoughts should actually ask ourselves the question, what are we doing at individual level to influence leadership? I urge the women here present not to lose sight of their goals. If you had goals that you have achieved, they ceased to be goals. And so you need to set others. If you put your mind and effort to it, the universe will always conspire to make those goals happen. Your voices need to be heard, and your contributions need to be seen. And thank you once more for sharing your stories. You will shape the future, and you need to hold the hands of your younger sisters so that they follow in your footsteps. Women have the power to create, to nurture, to transform. And that's what we are called by God to do. If we don't do that, we're missing out on our God-given duty. So do not sit on your knowledge and experience, but use it to nurture, use it to mentor, use it to grow other women. I cannot end my remarks without thanking Zion Publishers and Radido in particular, and his team who conceived this great idea, and for being so passionate about it. Being so passionate. I mean, you heard him earlier. Radido, you are the true he for she. You are the male champion. You are the male champion that we all want to be. Women leadership is not about excluding the male. It's about working with the male. Because they have capabilities and gifts that we don't have, just like we have gifts and capabilities that they don't have. So we must work together. May you at Zion Publishers continue to make a difference. And as chair of the Women on Boards Network, I pledge to work with you to make this project bigger, better, and indeed international. Because in my mind, Kenya has to become the reference point for female leadership. It has to be. With these stories in this room, it has to be. I end my remarks by sharing a quote from Mary Wamai, who, as I said, launched her book today. And she says this. She says, finally, I embrace these 3 simple rules of life. If you do not go after what you want in life, you will never get it. If you do not ask, the answer will always be no. If you don't step forward, you will always be in the same spot. So it has been a pleasure sharing with you this launch, sharing your stories with you. I cannot think of another place where I would have felt so much at home. Thank you for having me.